You may have heard of the Mothman, the mysterious winged beast with red glowing eyes. The beast has stalked and been sighted from 1966 to as recent as 2018. Many believe that this creature is a warning, an omen of impending doom. No one truly knows where it came from, or if it even exists, until now. Recently uncovered letters and a diary of a man named Frederick Walker shed more light on the story. The journal follows Frederick Walker, who was a factory worker who had just lost his job after losing an arm in an accident on the job site and being blamed for it. His wife left him shortly after, and he lost the house due to the piling up bills and his stint in drinking. He attempted to get jobs elsewhere and lived out of his old Chrysler car. No one would hire him because he had only one arm, and after leaving his hometown, he found his way to Point Pleasant in West Virginia, where he found an abandoned warehouse where he could safely sleep. In his own words, he wrote of that night, "It was a rainy day, and I had to find a place, but with no money, no motel would take me. I found an old warehouse, some sort of sheet metal structure, and turned in for the night, when I was awoken by someone tapping me on the shoulder. It was a man, with chiseled features and a smart-looking suit. My first thought was that he was the cops, but he assured me he wasn't. His voice is what really struck me, as it instantly quelled my fears. He was just so graceful, almost like his feet didn't even touch the ground as he moved. He said something to me. He told me he could help me. He said that I could get my house back, my wife back, and my kids back. I could make loads of money and provide for them tenfold. I could eat, I could drink, I could send my kids to college. All I had to do was sign a contract." He told me this and gave me some candles and instructions. He said that he would come back to me at midnight tonight. I think I'm going to do this. For my daughter Eliza and my boy Timmy. He gave me some instructions on how to notify him I was ready to sign. All I needed to do was draw a circle on the ground and place candles around it, and then say some words. Pretty strange man he is, but if that is the signal, I'm sure I'll come back to the candlelight. That was written on November 15th, 1966. That night, a fire broke out in the warehouse, and while the rain had subsided and police and fire department were rushed out, they couldn't find a body. Only 5 lit candles surrounding a pentagram on the ground, and the car Frederick was living out of, abandoned. He was declared dead a year later, after no evidence of him was ever found in the forest or otherwise. That night, a few miles away, Steve and Mary Mallett and Roger and Linda Scarberry saw a creature chase their car along a darkened Route 62. This creature seemed to have red glowing eyes and a 10-foot wingspan. This was the first sighting of the Mothman. Many more sightings for the town of Point Pleasant would follow, with a group of gravediggers coming forward and stating they witnessed the creature flying overhead. Now, Frederick wasn't a religious man. He grew up with little knowledge of the Bible or angels or demons. However, that did not stop him from meeting the devil himself. Lucifer was once said to be beautiful, and he remains that way on Earth, approaching people and promising them their wildest dreams in exchange for their soul. However, some people he turns into demons, creatures who can attack others and fills the air with dread and fear. The Mothman is one of these demons, but it seems that Frederick Walker somehow uses this to aid humanity. The next major sighting of Mothman was the day before the collapse of the Silver Bridge on December 15th, 1967, where it was spotted flying around the bridge. In the dimming light, witnesses say that the creature looked like it only had one arm, but again, the large wingspan and terrifying red eyes drew their glance. Then, on December 10th, 1978, in Freiburg, Germany, German miners spotted a one-armed man wearing a dark trench coat in front of the mine that they were going into. After approaching the figure, it shrieked and its wings sprouted, terrifying the miners, who ran. Later on that day, the mine collapsed, and had the miners continued, they would have surely died. The sightings fell for a while, until August 1st, 2007, on the I-35 West Mississippi River Bridge, where onlookers again saw a figure above the bridge, which later collapsed that day. The traffic grew lighter that day, but the bridge still buckled and killed 13 people. Then, the Mothman sighting ceased and did not reappear until 2018, when a tsunami devastated Japan. A few days after the tsunami, a winged figure with red eyes was spotted and heard shrieking above the Fukushima nuclear power plant. This was days before they discovered the leakage of nuclear waste. Mothman might just be a man whose soul is trapped forever in a state of living death, after being sold to the devil in exchange for a twisted way to be famous.